Hey, welcome to the show. So, today we're going to do something that I haven't done yet, but I hope to do more of, and that's kind of an educational how-to type of video. So what we're going to talk about is climbing anchors, and in specific, the quad anchor. So I have one here in my hand, as you see. The reason it's called a quad is because there are 4 strands that you can use to attach to. So this anchor is one that I use a lot. It's really useful for trad climbing, multi-pitch, and also for top roping. Actually, it's a very good anchor for that. So the reason that it is useful is you can clip the ends to a couple of bolts, and what you're left with are these 4 strands, which you can then, if you're multi-pitch trad climbing, clip carabiner to, attach yourself to, use the other one to belay your second up, or to belay a leader if you're multi-pitch climbing. So you can see that actually 2 of these would be really useful, one in multi-pitch. So you get to the first anchor, you set up, you go up, you can keep this anchor in place, and then your leader will have the other one. He goes up, sets up, belays you up, and as you take this out. So I've done a lot of that, in particular when I went to Devil's Tower. We use this extensively because all of the belay stations are 2-bolt belay stations. It's also very useful in a top rope scenario. So you can hook up your top rope, again, 2 bolts, and the reason this is nice is it will actually self-equalize. So the carabiner will slide around and equalize regardless of where your climber is moving. So you're not loading one bolt or the other as the rope may be shifting. And if you happen to have 2 routes side by side that share anchors, you could even set up 2 top ropes on the same anchor. Okay, so I want to talk a little bit first about how we evaluate this anchor and how we evaluate anchors in general. Using the acronym SERENE. That's S-E-R-E-N-E. What it stands for is it needs to be simple, it needs to be efficient, it needs to be redundant, and it needs to equalize and be non-extending. Alright, so SERENE. It is a simple anchor. You can pre-tie it, take it with you. So it's simple, it's efficient. You just clip in, clip to here. Key point is do not clip all 4 strands. Okay? This is the one kind of disadvantage of this. If you clip all 4 strands and one of your bolts fails, it's no longer redundant. In fact, it can fall out. So it is redundant if you clip any 2 strands. So if one of the anchors fails, you're still caught. It goes either way. If one of your strands fails, you still have a second strand. If one of the strands on the anchor carabiner fails, you still have a second strand. So it's a very secure anchor, it's a very redundant anchor, and it's really good. However, it is slightly extending. So it's recommended that this length in between here be no more than 12 inches. And the reason for that is if one of the bolts that you have this clip to fails, you will shock load the system slightly. Alright, so I don't recommend it for an anchor built with trad gear. Instead, I think it's a bomber anchor for when you have a 2-bolt belay station. Or if you have chains up, you want to set up your top rope, clip these into the bolts, the chains are hooked into, and top rope off the route that way. When top roping, I don't typically use the locking carabiner. Here I'll do one of 2 things. I will either slip in, again, grabbing 2 strands, right? Slip in 2 non-locking carabiners, they're opposed, and then clip into that. Alright, so again, it'll just slide along. Or, if you're going to do a lot of top roping, another nice thing to have might be a locking steel carabiner. So, kind of heavy, but really takes a lot of abuse. If you do a lot of top roping, this is a nice thing to have, right? Rather than just chewing up the aluminum carabiners. So, let me talk a little bit about how you tie this. Okay, so what you're going to need to get yourself is some either 7mm or 8mm nylon accessory cord. What I am using is sterling 7mm accessory cord. It has a 12.3 kilonewton rating on it. I think that for me 7mm is a nice balance of strength and size. It allows it to not be too bulky. And you just need to get a length of that. Now I'll put a link in the description for that cord as well as maybe a couple of others. I do not recommend a tech cord like a Dyneema cord. The reason for that is one of the knots required to tie this is not really great for Dyneema cord. You could do it with a triple Fisherman's knot, but it makes the knot kind of bulky. So go with the nylon. I think it's a better choice. So this is a 16-foot length of the cord, and the first thing we're going to do is we're going to tie a double Fisherman's knot into the ends to join this into a continuous loop. So if you don't know how to tie this knot, that's okay. I plan on doing a series of how-tos for knot tying, but you will need to check out some details on how to do that if you don't know how to tie this knot. Alright, so there is my double Fisherman's. Create a loop. Now, what I'm going to do is take this loop and get the Fisherman's knot kind of right about there. I'm going to double this on itself, so now there are 4 strands. Okay, nice even loop, and I'm going to tie a figure 8 here. Now, some people will just do an overhand knot. That's fine, but I like to do a figure 8. I think that, if you need to adjust it later on or retie the knot, a figure 8 is going to be a little bit easier to manage. And do the same thing on the other side. Again, if you don't know how to tie a figure 8, I'm going to be doing a series of how-tos on knots. So figure 8 is pretty critical. I assume most climbers here will know how to do that. So I'll just get this knot out of there, and what you have is a quad anchor. Now you can adjust these knots a little bit so that the lengths here are even. It's a little uneven. Again, this distance between here you want to be about 12 inches, or at least no more than 12 inches, and that's your quad. So a couple of carabiners, locking carabiners always. Alright, anything that's going to be load bearing should be locking. Alright, clip those to your anchors. Clip that into 2 strands. And if you're setting up a belay, you can just clove hitch yourself to that. Set up your belay on this, and you're ready to rock. So that's pretty much all there is to it. Check out this video of me setting one up in the field. And if you have any questions, let me know. Thanks.